From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big Saturday noontime here on LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. The vote-in starts next week. Here we go. The president has called the votes in the fourth stimulus check and fourth stimulus package for next week. We'll be going over the monthly stimulus check that the Democrats want you to have. We'll go over the breaking news across the board and what you should anticipate for next week. Then the second half of this video, we go over fifth stimulus that will raise your benefits up a lifetime and add a benchmark. That benchmark we learned more about in breaking news late yesterday from the Federal Reserve Chair out of St. Louis. But there will also be a fifth stimulus check this fall. And landing next year, we'll be going over all the details about that fifth stimulus check in this video as well. And then we turn to thousands of dollars of money you can get right now. I'm excited for you. It's a big noontime. It's a big Saturday at noontime. The golf is golfing. The U.S. Open is teeing off. I'm here, you're here. Let's get to all the incredible details starting right now on Noontime LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How are you doing? Ready to crush the weekend? Your Saturday is underway, and I'm glad you are joining me on this big broadcast. Boy, here we go. We're going into the voting next week. Very excited. Hope you are good. How's the weather where you are? Tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is. Jump in the live chat right now and tell me how the weather is and where you're tuning in from. It got cooler, breezier. It's sort of like U.S. Open weather here, even though I'm much more north in Los Angeles, not in San Diego. But it is dark and it's as though Phil Mickelson would like my weather outside currently at the moment. But boy, this fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, a lot of breaking news. We'll be going into the voting next week. I'll be going over what that involves and what the president said about this as well. We'll be going over Jalopal's comments, going into Monday, all incredible great news. Then we'll be turning to how much you're going to get from those Democrats, how much they want you to have in this monthly fourth stimulus check. Then later in this video, we'll be turning to the fifth stimulus, which heats up with not just another fifth stimulus check, but also the raising of your benefits lifetime if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. And the applying of a benchmark and the surprising news that came out of the Federal Reserve on Friday. And then we're going to turn to the thousands of dollars of money you can get right now in this extended noontime broadcast. A lot of breaking news, and if you're new, this is LALATE, the only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, broadcasting live in the morning like right now, direct from Santa Monica to you, and then taped in the afternoons next with Afternoons LA at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and evenings. Those shows are going to be massive shows tonight, so tune into both of those shows. They're extended because there is so much breaking news today. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. It helps deliver free pizzas. We're trying that. We're seeing if it works. Hit the like button and see if the pizza guy is at the front door in about 10 minutes from now. Check our watches and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that. Fourth stimulus with the House bill and the Senate proposal. The House bill provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal, let's compare that as well. When we're looking at the two proposals, we're looking at a differences of the amount of checks and also the differences of the monthly amounts. So here we go. The House bill, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus check. Senate proposal, July to December. Let's look at the monthly payouts. House bill, $2,000 first month, $1,000 thereafter. Senate proposal, unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Yes, $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 a person. If you're on the live chat just after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday morning, get ready to vote, House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from. But first, let's go over the issue at hand, which is the pandemic. Many legislative insiders contend that the pandemic may be over. If that's the case, then the House bill from Jalapal will be reduced to 12 months of stimulus checks. Over 12 months, which is $13,000. Let's compare that to the Senate proposal over 6 months. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate. I want to see you voting and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. House or Senate, and tell me how the weather is. Let's go over who's getting this fourth stimulus check. The Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So if you're a single individual who makes less than $75,000, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. If you're on benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits. And if you're a household four or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would come in a monthly basis. It would not come in waves. It's not a waivable check. So if you're at the beach this Saturday and you see the check trying to get a part of that surf, say, "Hey, check, how you doing?" Check didn't wave back at me. Rude check. It's not a waivable check. It might know how to surf, but it's not a waivable check. So there you go. It's not rude. It's just, but hopefully you don't crash in that surf. The worst stimulus check would be coming from the Democrats in the month of July. They represent the final vote, would be in the month of July 4th, no later. That means that the fourth stimulus check goes out in the month of July for the month of July, and in the month of August for the month of August. And there you go. That is your first of 3 parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 in this video. In the second part, we'll be going over what the president said about calling the vote, what Jalapal and the president saying going into Monday. A lot of breaking news and a lot of wonderful details. In the third part of this fourth stimulus update, we'll be going over the voting process for next week and what you should anticipate, both on both sides of the aisle. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. Fifth stimulus. Yes, there will be a fifth stimulus check, but also raising up of your benefits lifetime. But on Friday, that particular guy out of St. Louis, the head of the Federal Reserve out of St. Louis, made the Wall Street crash, but also gave you renewed optimism that your benefits will be going through the roof. I'll explain all these details in the second half of this video. But time to get some money. Time to get some money. If you're new to this channel, that's what I do. This is not the Psychic Stimulus Check Network. We're not here predicting stimulus checks, when they're going to land, how they're going to land, or tracking checks. What I do is I get people money. I've been doing this from day one. $25 million of EIDL loans in spring of last year. I got people save their businesses, save their homes, save their employees' homes. In fall 2020, much like now, we were waiting for a stimulus package to pass. And we need money. So I got people $250,000 of rent and utilities. Well, we're doing it right now as well. So get that pen and paper ready. And if you must use a Crayola crown, at least match the pink of the host's shirt. I know you got a pink Crayola in there. So there you go. Stay with me because I have a lot of money to get you in this video. Stay to the very end. We're first going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. $5,000 approximately for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. Yes, it's a lot of money. So get that pen and paper ready. I'm first going to show you that each place has different eligibility. So if one says no, don't worry, the next will say yes. They also have their own pots of money. All right, you ready with that pen and paper? Here we go. You're going to reach out to 6 places. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to use are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID. Or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't use words they don't know. Don't use the word stimulus. They don't know that word. And don't use the words Mitch's bikini contest. They don't know about that. And I think they don't want to know about it either. They don't know about it, and they don't want to know about it. So don't bring up things they don't know about. And there you go. One viewer on yesterday's show said she had reached out to her city, couldn't find money. Reach out to the county and the state as well. I had that problem in the fall of last year. That's why I talk about the state and the county. For example, Mississippi, Louisiana, Also, a lot of the southwestern states, they did not have it at the local level, but they had it at the state housing authority. So go reach out to it. And boy, congratulations to Tim and Linda who's gotten this money as well. Well, the next pot of the money, it's wonderful. And if you got in a penny or 100 pennies or 100,000 pennies, I've gotten them all for those viewers of this channel. Jump in the live chat right now to say what you've gotten, because every person that gets something inspires someone else. This morning on Morning Daylight, one viewer said, I got $300 for rent assistance from Community Action, one of the nonprofits that the volunteers can help you with, and inspired the entire live chat of that show. And that was one of the most watched morning shows in a long time. So if you've gotten a penny or anything from this channel, jump in the live chat, share it right now. I got inspired this week when one viewer got $5,000 for this next thing. Last week I was inspired when one viewer got $6,000 to $7,000 for it. What is it? SNAP. SNAP. It is money for food coming from the Department of Agriculture. So reach out to the Department of Agriculture to get this money. It is a lot of money. How much is it? It's about $16,000. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December for everyone nationally. Lynn Glenn got it for herself and her son and her mom. Gail, another viewer, got it as well. So go get it. And you're killing it. You're doing a great job. Get it is right now. Keep on getting this money. You can get some of this on the weekends. And boy, $16,000 for SNAP, approximately. $5,000 approximately for rent. You're killing it. And we're only 11 minutes of this video. Well, I got more money for you right now. It's about $5,000. Yes. How do you get this? From the states. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance due to computer error. Not your computer. Your computer works fine, thank you. It's their darn computer. Windows 98, time to upgrade. Well, the federal government said it was not your fault that their computer didn't work and has now ordered the states to return the money back to you. Wow. One viewer got $5,000 from this. How do you get it? Directly on the account that you have on file with your state. When will you receive this money? Reach out to your respective states and ask for the routing time of when you're going to receive the money. And when you do, say to them, and don't track it with that same darn computer, because it probably won't work that either. And then we have one last pot of money, and that wonderful pot of money is coming from the IRS. Viewers continually get it. Margaret got it. Cod got it. A viewer last week got it. Michael got it. What is it? It's the money for tax refund. If you got it as well, jump in the live chat right now and tell other people you got it. Let's go over the details. How much, when, where, and how to track it. First, it's a lot of money. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment assistance. You had a $5,000 total tax bill, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment assistance. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit if that was on your return, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yes. Go to irs.gov. Set up a username and password. Go in there and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works. It will reveal activity under your name. First, it will reveal the tax return you filed. Then it will reveal the taxes you paid. Then it will reveal the tostada you ordered for lunch yesterday. And then it will reveal the pizza you just purchased. No, those are not in there. But it will reveal then finally the tax return you're getting, the tax refund check. That is wonderful news. And can we top that wonderful news? We can, with the second of your third part of the fourth stimulus check updated 2021, starting right now. The voting starting next week, the president has confirmed. The president this last week said we're starting the voting. The voting on the reconciliation process of your fourth stimulus package starts next week. Now, how did we get to that spot? And what was the reaction from the president? And what was the reaction from Jalopal? Let me go over all those details. New comments from Jalopal and progressives about the whole process. And yesterday, I had a couple of comments I saw, I think it was on Evenings LA, where people were confused by the quote because it's a double negative. No one likes a double negative sentence. It's confusing sometimes to read. So I'm going to explain it again even slower for you to understand the wonderful news. Jalopal said at the end of this week, the White House has not in any way told us progressives to not do what we're doing. Double negative. That's wonderful news. I'll explain to you what that means in a second. Then Brian Schatz, Democrat of Hawaii, said the White House has repeatedly reassured him that the White House considers the progressive priorities the White House's own priorities, and that the White House has not asked progressives to stop doing what they're doing with forced stimulus. Wonderful news. But let me explain it to you, because it is a double negative. So what's going on? Fourth stimulus has two priorities of the president in there, which are progressive policies. And those priorities are climate and the CARES economy. CARES economy is money for seniors and medicine. The president doesn't write legislation. The Congress writes legislation. The progressives in the Congress write legislation. And the president has made adamant to everyone, including the progressives, that he wants those two progressive policies in there, climate and CARES economy. And if they're not in there, he will veto the actual final bill. He won't support it. He's adamant those two progressive policies are in there. So what are the progressives doing? The progressives are saying to the president, yes, we will fight to the final fight to get those two progressive policies in there. We will write them and put them in there. I don't like using the word fight because I know people are going to say, oh, you mean there's resistance? No, they're just going to make sure, the progressives will make sure that those two progressive policies are in there that the president wants. To which the president then says to the progressives, well, I know you have progressive policies, so you put those in as there as well, and I will love them. And what are the progressive policies that they want in there? Stimulus checks monthly. So you see how this is playing out. The president wants two progressive policies included, climate and CARES economy, and the progressives are watching his back. And the progressives want their own additional progressive policy in the bill that they are drafting. That is the monthly stimulus check, and the president has their back as well. This is wonderful, wonderful news. So how did we get to the spot? We got to the spot the Friday before Memorial Day weekend when Leader Schumer confirmed three details. One, the reconciliation process had begun. Two, will be done by July 4th. And three, that it will pass on July 4th. How did we get to that point? We got to that point when John Paul, once again, wrote a letter to Schumer. The letter to Schumer said, call the vote, but the letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. When about a week ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying, when we go to draft the fourth stimulus package, we will be drafting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Who are these people to say that? What do they do for a living? Who are you? They are the people on the House subcommittee that is solely and exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks in the U.S. Congress. Wow. Did they write the first stimulus check? They did. Did they write the second stimulus check? They did. Did they write our third stimulus check? They did. And now they say they're marking up the bill, and they say they're including a fourth stimulus check. Wow. Are they going to give us a fifth stimulus check? They are, and that's coming up in the second part of this video. Wow, now that's wonderful. Can we top that? And we can. 2 things from the president. 1, he says the vote will be called this coming week, and he's demanding the voting to start the start of this week. Wow. And then second, the president does it. Biden does it. A week ago today, the president signed into law a major international agreement that anchors forced stimulus to the finish line and makes it easier to pass forced stimulus because the provisions are no longer needed in forced stimulus. They're in the international agreement. Let me explain what happened. I'll slow it down. A recent Tuesday ago, I said the president had done something really wonderful, but it was confusing and I needed to slow it down. So I'm going to slow it down again once again. It started with the president talking about forced stimulus. Forced stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. That is the rate in which corporations pay taxes in the United States. Well, the president said, I'm worried about raising the U.S. corporate tax rate because U.S. corporations may leave and go to another country where the corporate tax rate is lower. So I have an idea. I'm going to reach out to those other countries and have them raise their minimum corporate tax rate so that a business won't leave or move around because it won't save them any money. Well, those other countries agreed tentatively, to which the president reached out to his insiders and said, you know what, this December we should get those foreign countries to sign on the dotted line, this December, and we can also exchange some Christmas gifts. And if we do, then we can remove those provisions for the forced stimulus because we won't need them anymore. Wonderful news. But then he surprised us all. A week ago today came the surprise. The president, in his first international trip, flew overseas and had those G7 countries' leaders sign into law the provisions now, not after forced stimulus in December, but now, anchoring forced stimulus right to the edge of the finish line because the provisions are now in an international agreement about the U.S. corporate tax rate issues overseas, no longer needing those provisions into forced stimulus and making it easier to pass forced stimulus because those provisions aren't needed in there anymore. Now that is wonderful, wonderful news. As we go into next week and the vote in, the third part of our forced stimulus check updated 2021 in this video goes over what's happening next week, starting on Monday. A lot of breaking news, a lot for you to know. It's coming up in the third part of this video. But also coming up is fifth stimulus with another stimulus check and the understanding of why your benefits may be raised upwards of 10% lifetime. That breaking details is coming after Friday's statement from the Federal Reserve out of St. Louis. It's coming up also after the commercial break. But what's better than that? The volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or SNAP, reach out to the community page and the volunteers. They're viewers just like you. They embody the Purple Power spirit. Viewers helping viewers, just like how I try to help you. How do you find them? Open the description to this video. Go down in the description of this video. You will see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of the house, the community page. Click the link and send you over to news.lalate.com/community. There are the volunteers. They can help you with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and SNAP. They cannot cook you a tostada. They cannot take out your garbage. They cannot get your dry cleaning. So don't ask anything beyond the things that I cover in this video. They cannot do tax returns or home repairs or anything else other than that. But they can also perhaps give you directions to Mitch's bikini shop. I don't know. Maybe not. More about them coming up right now. And I'll be back in 60 seconds with more exciting details that are heating up next week for fourth stimulus and, yes, the fifth stimulus package. Stay with me. See you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LA. Exciting details heating up about your fourth stimulus check of 2021 and your fifth stimulus check as well. It's a big noontime, and I'm so excited you to join me this Saturday. How you doing? If you're just joining the live chat, tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I'm very excited for you. Boy, the weather has been great here. So hit the like button. It improves the weather. In the second half of this video, we'll go over fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus and big details. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes. Consider becoming a member as well. Let's get right into fifth stimulus. And fifth stimulus is very, very important. Personal message first before I get to fifth stimulus. I saw some people on Mornings LA still talking about SS200. Stop talking about SS200. This pays you thousands, tens of thousands of dollars more than SS200. Please listen to how this works, because SS200 is dead, this is alive, and this pays you astronomical more amount of money. If you have questions about how this works, jump in the live chat so you understand it. But don't talk about the SS200 anymore, because this is what pays you astronomically more money. All right, this stimulus heats up this fall with the revising of your benefits program. The revising of your benefits program involves first a lift up and a new benchmark. More about that in a second. But let's go over the other two items on the fifth stimulus that are very important. First, there will be another fifth stimulus check. That fifth stimulus check heats up in the fall of this year. The drafting of it in September, the legislative vote on it around November, December, and the final sending out of it in January of next year. This is fifth stimulus for 2022. Those House Democrats want you to have that. It's different than fourth stimulus, which is this year. Breaking news number 2, the president's dedicating over $1 billion to the Social Security Administration Fund to ensure that you get your checks on time. I'm the one that's very excited about this because so many people were just left behind, got checks late under third stimulus, weeks late, months late. We're very upset about Direct Express by Comerica being late. It's all going to end. The president's dedicating $1 billion to the system to ensure that fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and your monthly benefits checks come on time. Then let's go to that change of your benefits. The changing of your benefits got a lot of breaking news this week. It started with understanding that consumer price index and the producer price index number came in red hot, showing that the inflation rate is really surging. Many Wall Street insiders basically said the following, that we may be at about 4% inflation right now, and that we're heading up, and we're going to hit a temporary or transitory spike of 10%, potentially, and then come back down normally after that. On Wednesday, Jay Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, spoke about this and would not, of course, speak about inflation. That's sort of taboo for him to talk about, but did say that there will be 2 interest rate hikes in 2 years from now. He also said the economy needs more stimulating. Great news for you. But then on Friday, the head of the Federal Reserve out of St. Louis, who reports to Jay Powell, he's below him, came out and said, inflation's a little bit hotter than we expected. Oh, that's good for you. Scary for Wall Street, because that's not what Jay Powell had said. And of course, Wall Street went down. So what does this mean for you? It means wonderful news. Now, let's go over the calculation for you right now. This is the part of which I want you to distance yourself from the SS200. Don't bring it up ever again, because this is going to pay you thousands of dollars of more money than a $1,400 or $200 a month add-on. Let's go over the details. First, they're going to raise your benefits up one time. Then they're going to apply the inflation benchmark. I could do that calculation with you in a second. Then they're going to remove the asset limit, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. All right, let's go over all those details starting right now. First, under fifth stimulus, and this is September, out the door in about October, November, they're going to raise your benefits up one time first. That is you, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits. That's one time. Then, every December, they apply a benchmark for next year's benefits. There'll be a new benchmark, and that's inflation. Well, we also know inflation's red hot. Well, here's what you have to hope really happens. That the inflation rate, which is already high at the moment, 4% potentially, continues to reach that altitude, and that it hits that spike, that peak, that transitory or temporary spike that we all know is going to happen. You have to hope it hits that right when they apply your benchmark in about November, December, before it goes back down, because this is what will happen. If it hits that peak, and that peak is about 10%, then your benefits will be raised up that peak about 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. This is a massive, massive amount of money, because the way benefits works is you always are raised up or stay the same. And if that peak hits right when they apply the benchmark for the very first time, when the inflation rate is the highest in nearly 30, 40 years, your benefits will be raised up lifetime. This is an astronomical change for you. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law. It's going to go away. So you'll be able to have more than $3,000 on hand. Next, they're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And finally, the marriage penalty will be over. You'll be able to marry and enjoy your longtime love interest. You will no longer fear getting married or fear loss of benefits or be penalized. The marriage penalty will end, and viewers like Sandy and Rob will be able to marry and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. That is your fifth stimulus check updated 2021. Now, it's important to know that there's a lot of other things that are in fifth stimulus. There's money for seniors, there's hazard pay. There's a lot of other things in the fourth stimulus. And there's fortunes, thousands of dollars in there available for you right now to get under third stimulus. But most of them are application based. They're not automatic. You need to apply for them. So consider becoming a member. As a member, you're sent from me daily a breakdown of everything that's in third stimulus, so you know the thousands of dollars that you can get. Fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. The link to become a member is in the top of the chat and in the pinned comment in the description. If you're in the chat right now and you see people who have purple hawks next to their name, they are members. Daily, I deliver to you via the community page of YouTube a breakdown of all this money you can get under third stimulus and then in the future under fourth and fifth stimulus. And there you go. Well, let's get to our third and final part of our fourth stimulus check update in this extended noontime broadcast. I told you there's a lot of breaking news this morning, and we are far from over. All right, in this final part, we're going to go over four things. First, personal messaging. Second, calling the vote, which you should anticipate for next week. Fake narrative, strange new twist and wrinkle happening yesterday and expected to continue next week. And finally, purple power push. All right, first, it's important to go over personal message. Yesterday, in one of the chats, someone jumped in the chat and said, I called up Social Security and spoke to a lobbyist, and they gave me their opinion about fourth stimulus. Why? That's like me going to the corner and asking the guy that flips the tacos, hey, what do you think about fourth stimulus? They have no insight. They are not legislators. They're not drafting the bill. They're not calling the vote. They have absolutely no insight as to what's going on. What's important to understand is that legislators legislate. And early in this video, I told you they're currently marking up the bill. What does that mean? It means they have a draft of the bill in one hand and they have a pen in the other hand. The pen has ink on one side and has an eraser on the other side. So at any time, you may be ecstatic something's in there, and they may be taking that pen and putting that eraser to it and erasing it out. Or you may be discouraged thinking that something's not in there, and they may be writing it in. The legislative process is what's involved in any bill drafting and final voting. We have three emojis on this channel: not bill yet, not law yet, and donut. And so it's important to understand that you should never partake in the stimulus psychic events of predictions, saying, I called, I think, I hope, I wonder. What do you believe? What do you think? What do you hope? Until it's called to a final vote, anything could happen. Go up, go down, go left, or go right. So that's important to understand. Let's go over the voting process so you see how these changes could happen starting next week. There's 9 steps to the voting process, and step 5, 7, and 8 are the ones in which changes could occur. So let's pay attention to those as we go through them. Step 1, the House subcommittee votes on the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. And step 4, the procedural bill is passed. The president signs into law. The tow truck is passed over the finish line. Here we go. Step 5. Step 5, the House subcommittee finishes marking up the bill with the ink on one side and the eraser on the other side and calls it for a vote in the House subcommittee. At that point, those House subcommittee members could put a monthly stimulus check in there. Step 6, the floor of the House votes on the substantive bill. Here we go, steps 7 and 8. The 2-day vote-a-rama in the Senate, in which senators can amend anything they got from the House. 3 possibilities. 1, the House bill has no stimulus checks in there. The senators can amend and add them in there during the 2-day vote-a-rama. Possibility number 2, the House does have stimulus checks in there, and the senators like it. They leave it alone. Or possibility number 3, The House has stimulus checks in there, and the senators want to change something about it, so they amend it. And then step 9, the president signs into law. Which brings us to number 3, fake narratives. Oh, fake narratives. If you were with me earlier this year for the last recon, you were used to seeing what happens with fake narratives. And I want to pre-warn you about what you should anticipate as we go through the voting process. Number 1, very, very common trait that conservative media will run stories to tell you that there's a dissenter among the Democrats that's going to derail the vote. And it's always a false story. They're going to do it again. So I do not want you to sit back and see a conservative print story that says Joe Manchin has said. They just run these stories. They just have them in a cycle. They did all through third stimulus, and they're going to do it again in fourth stimulus. All the Democrats are aligned to pass this. Okay, second false narrative. This one's a strange one. This one's a surprise one. You're going to see stories where Democrats have told other Democrats that unless something is in there, I'm not voting for it. And we've heard this in second stimulus, and we've heard this in third stimulus. We heard this a lot about the minimum wage. A certain person said, unless the minimum wage is in there, I'm going to vote against this, and I'm not going to support it. And then the person folds like a lawn chair. They do that. And they started on a Friday. So a series of Democrats with U-Haul trucks started backing up the U-Haul trucks and I got the Brussels sprouts provision bill that I want to include in there. And they're like, you again with that Brussels sprouts provision? Yeah, unless you include Brussels sprouts in this, I'm drawing the line in the sand. And then as soon as they call the vote, he's like, I can go without Brussels sprouts. They do this all the time. So that's what Democrats do as well. So I don't want you to worry about that as well. Ultimately, you want to listen to the president, to Chuck, to Jalapal, myself, and the community. Finally, Purple Power Push. You've been doing a great job. It was a week ago today on a Saturday where I went on air and I said, there are 12 tweets in 12 hours. That ain't going to cut it. And you've been doing a great job. You've been doing a great job going on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, tagging your elected officials, hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power, and sending messages why you need stimulus checks. It's important to also include in your tagging progressives. So also progressive accounts like the House Progressives, the House Progressive Chair, Vice Chair, Senate Vice Chair. Tag the progressives, because remember, they're the ones pushing your stimulus check to the finish line. And finally, if you don't use when on social media, also retweet other people. So if you do a search of hashtag Purple Power altogether, you'll see other people tweeting. Go in there and just retweet. It can take you 10 seconds to do 30, 40 retweets. All those elected officials, they have phones. They're going to be seeing your tweets over the weekends. They'll be seeing your tweets next week as well. So do that. And finally, if you don't use social media, the old-fashioned way, pick up the phone and call them on the phone and express to them professionally in their DC office to their staffer, talk to the staffer, don't leave a voicemail, why you think this needs to be done. Express your own personal story of why you think stimulus checks need to be added. Finally, Thursday, the new jobless claims number was released. It shows how many people newly went on unemployment for the first time ever. These aren't people who were unemployed before. These are new jobless claims. And the number went up. It was bad, suggesting we absolutely need stimulus checks. And with that, thank you for joining me on a big extended noontime home broadcast. I'm next back with you with Afternoons LALATE, and boy, that's going to be a big show. You are going to be loving that show. That's a big show this afternoon. It's at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, followed by Evenings LA, which is going to have even more coverage. We have a lot of breaking news this weekend, so stay with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Like this video. It delivers free pizza. I hope it does. Otherwise, just like it, because it also helps in the algorithm ranking. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and get delivered to you daily what's in third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I'll see you next on Afternoons and Evenings LALATE.